Welcome, everyone, and happy Thursday. It is noon Eastern time here in the booming metropolis known as Ambler, PA, just outside of Philadelphia. Oftentimes people confuse those two cities, but fear not. Ambler, Thursdays, noon Eastern time. You know what that means. It is time for Talent Experience Live, your weekly look at all things talent acquisition, talent management, recruiting, applied, artificial intelligence, human resources as a whole, and of course, everything that is new and exciting here at Phenom. This program is proudly brought to you by Phenom, obviously, whose purpose is to help a billion find the right work. That is why we host this program on a weekly basis, why we also have Cliff Yurkowicz's podcast called Unusual Attitudes, why we are at every single HR tech event under the sun, why we did AI Day a couple weeks back, and also why we have I Am Phenom coming up in 2026. Obviously, all of those great events, programs, shows, webinars, everything in between are fantastic. But the way that we truly help a billion find the right work is through our applied AI talent intelligent management system, management system. It's an experience system. It is our applied AI talent experience management system, which of course helps candidates find the right fit faster, employees evolve in their current roles and beyond, recruiters achieve next level productivity and efficiency, and managers get to build better teams through data, automation, and analytics. If any of this interests you at all, don't walk to phenom.com to learn more, learn all about our applied AI, all about our agents, everything in between. And if you are so inclined, feel free to request a demo. Well, now that the bills are paid, the boxes are checked, it is time to get into today's topic. I had the pleasure of sitting down with Jared King of Vyond to talk all things artificial intelligence and video specifically. Vyond is a video generation company that has been around the block a time or two and continues to evolve and reinvent itself. And Jared and I really talked about how he believes video will impact talent acquisition with the ability to create personalized on-demand content for your candidates and for your employees in order to reach them where they are on their phones. People aren't picking up the newspaper wanted ads anymore. So if you are interested in creating captivating and truly fascinating content, definitely check out this conversation with me and Jared, and feel free to send it to your friends, colleagues, loved ones, and everyone in between. Without any further hesitation, here's myself and Jared. Welcome to the program, Jared. How are you today?
I'm amazing. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for being here. I love the shirt. You're really bringing the energy today. We've had a couple, prep calls for this. I know this is going to be a fun conversation, but for the folks at home, for the folks tuning in for the first time, could you maybe give us a quick rundown of Vyond and how the company has evolved recently?
Sure. And thank you for complimenting me on the shirt. I like to be very professional. And I thought this is Halloween, so let's go with the skeleton shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. So Vyond, first of all, I've been here for about 2 years and I feel fortunate that I'm here. I always joke, like, I can't believe they're paying me because this is so much fun to work at a company like this. So we are the only enterprise ready AI video platform. And we have over 65% of the Fortune 500 using us today. And the reason why is they love us. Our small customers, our largest customers, but they love us for a couple of reasons. And one, it's easy to create content. It's fun to create content, and you can do it quickly in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And the content they're creating is like learning videos, explainer videos, compliance videos. Like, when are those fun? Never, but we can actually make them fun. Sales enablement videos. And with our technology being global, we can translate into 80 different languages. So it's super easy and fun to use.
No, that's awesome. 80 languages is a lot. I barely know one,
Yes.
Jared. So 80 is impressive. I really like the aspect of video. You mentioned making them fun, making them engaging. Video is one thing from a corporate perspective that I think really is looked at with a magnifying glass, because we all consume video, whether it be Netflix, whether it be regular television, sports. We're constantly consuming all of this content that when you see some of these explainer videos, some of these kind of IT training videos, they're always like, oh, like it lets the air out of your sails and you're like, here we go again, because we're used to this very high octane, very energetic video. I want to ask you, the rise of AI, we've seen avatars, we've seen all of this really ramp up, I think, content as a whole, whether it's on TikTok, LinkedIn, anywhere on the internet. How is that reshaping the way that organizations are communicating with their customers, employees, and prospects today?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has changed the game, and it's changing constantly, right? Like, I was watching a video my sister-in-law sent me the other day. She's like, "Oh my gosh, look at this." It was like a raccoon riding a bear. I'm like, "Okay, that was created with AI." She's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yes." Like that. Mm-hmm. It says Zora. It was fake. So it has really changed how we do things. And with Vyond and companies sort of like us, you can create content quickly, and the AI is extremely beneficial. So first, I want to point out, though, with Vyond, we don't train our AI on any of your content. And I think that's important to note, because if people are watching this, they're going to go to their security team and say, "Hey, we want to get Vyond." And the security team is going to be like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, AI, I'm terrified." We don't train on your content. We actually don't have access to your content, which a lot of our competitors do. We do not. So that's the first thing. But with the AI, what's great is you can easily create content that is engaging. You can simply just type in a prompt. Let's say for the HR folks, they have to deal with dumb reps like me that say, "Hey, I know I've asked this 12 times, but what's the difference between HSA and FSA?" Well, now with AI, you can literally type that in, and in 30 seconds, it creates you an animated or an avatar realistic video explaining it. So it really has sped up the process, and again, can make it more engaging.
Yeah, and I one of the benefits, not just from a security perspective, but you mentioned not training the AI on any existing content. There's a huge advantage there as well. They wouldn't be talking to you at Vyond if their existing content was any good, right? If they had this plethora or backlog of great content, they wouldn't have a need for an organization like you. And obviously, I'm sure that they have great content and what that other thing, but it gives you really a fresh slate, a clean opportunity to recreate or create new assets that are engaging with people. And one way that I think a question that is coming up, at least in my circles lately, you mentioned it there, was the AI avatar versus kind of the animation mimicking real people. Are we starting to see what audiences are leaning towards, what they're engaging with, what preferences are? Or is it truly a case-by-case basis where one organization loves AI avatars, they have a bunch of, kind of cool characters that they like to use, or another one wants to use real people or AI people, if you will?
Yeah, it really comes down to, it's case-by-case, but also what's the challenge you're trying to solve? Right? That's how it is in everything. Is there a challenge, and what are you trying to solve? If you're trying to solve the challenge of, I need engaging content that's going to resonate, a lot of people lean towards the animation because they need something to really grab them and be different than just a talking head. I mean, nobody wants to see me just talking, explaining something. But sometimes you need a more professional, realistic video. You can take an AI avatar. And what we see customers do is you can make a custom avatar. So you can clone yourself, Devin, you could have an avatar. And if you're just like, I don't want to be on camera today, type in the script and it looks like you're talking using your avatar, your voice, but you're just typing in a script. So it really comes down again to, is the challenge being engaging and resonating? Maybe animation will do that, or maybe you need that professional look with the AI avatars. And it's really case by case basis. What we also see, though, I'll point out, is a lot of customers now are starting to use both. So they have animation, and then maybe masked in a corner like a little bubble, they'll have that realistic avatar pop up and say a couple things. So you get best of both worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, first of all, no avatars of me, please. There's enough of me on the internet that nobody wants to see anymore. I can't stop talking as it is. But I think that finding that mixture of what works for your organization is so vital. And the only real way for a company to figure out is to experiment, right? And that's what you have the opportunity to do with Vyond, is test out the animation versus the talking heads. Maybe it's different for the content itself. If you're talking about something super serious, legal, whatever it may be, that probably doesn't feel like the time to make jokes with in animation, right? Or something that may call for a talking head.
That may call for an HR meeting right there. If you're like, hey, this is not where we're supposed to be using this. Okay, great.
Exactly. If you want jokes like that, watch Succession on HBO. You don't need them here. One thing you called out there was specifically scripting, and I know working with a number of folks here at Phenom, sometimes it can be intimidating, right? To look
Yes.
at a blank sheet of paper and say, "What am I going to talk about today?" What are some tips that you give, prospects, clients, anyone that you're speaking with, on how to really start writing for video? Because it isn't a skill that everyone, I think, is born with.
No, it really isn't. And I'll back up. My original coming out of college, which was way too many years ago, I actually made TV shows for History Channel, Food Network, and A&E for 10 years. So I was in an editing booth and I did what's called motion control. You were just taking a picture and zooming a camera in. It was amazing. All the stuff you could do now with a couple of clicks of a button. But I never was on the producing side because I couldn't write. To this day, I still can't. And what's great about Vyond and why I love it, back to that prompting, if you can think of the idea, you could type it in and it will write the script. It will build the video for you. And it can get you 60, 70% of the way there. Maybe you want to go in and tweak it a little bit, or you can get 100% of the way there, depending on. So to give you a real life example, one of my customers is an older gentleman that is an engineer for a company that produces and makes train cars. And he said to me, he goes, "I'm never going to be able to use this tool. I don't know how to design anything. I can't write a script. I'm about to retire. This is not for me."
Yeah.
So we gave him the tool. With using the text to video, Vyond Go is what we call it, he made, no joke, in 45 days, over 300 videos. It was either taking a prompt and putting it in there, or he had a bunch of old PowerPoints and PDFs. You can upload it, and it creates the video for you. So if you're scared of creating a script, because I know I am, you can just type in the idea and it'll create something for you. You can go back and tweak it if you want, but it's going to give you the baseline of what you need.
Yeah, I think he might be the guy that made that video of the kangaroo getting ready. I know you mentioned trains, but getting ready to board the plane. Like, I think of that content where you have the ability to take what is already existing and really have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
And start to engage people in different ways. And you don't have to have that technical or really artsy background, which has helped people a tremendous amount. There's always going to be content that isn't good. I'm sure if you ask that gentleman if all 300 videos he was proud of, probably not, but you have to iterate on them, right? And then that goes to kind of what you were saying, I believe.
Yeah. And what's great too is you can have those people that create that, but you also have professional designers that use our platform. And I want to point that out because professional designers will come in, they go from a blank screen and they're just like, okay, I have the idea, I have the script. I'm going to start searching for the scenes, the characters. I'm going to build it out. Those people I'm always impressed with. When I see their content, I have to ask them to share it for me due to security, and they'll show it to me. I'm like, oh my Lord, I never would have created that. And the content I create are dumb, fun videos. Like I made a Halloween video to the song Thriller where my entire family turned zombies. A lot of fun. I made a Christmas video that is much like a Hallmark Christmas movie in 90 seconds. That's the stuff I make. But what we see designers make is next level.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. And I love hearing that it's probably saving designers a tremendous amount of time as well, where they're able to really put those creative hats on and experiment without losing countless hours on the back end, right?
So I actually had a designer from a large consulting firm. When we started working with him, with the text to video came out on our platform, we had a conversation. He said, "Listen, it used to take me 8 weeks to create one video on Vyond." I was like, 8 weeks? That seems like a long time. Why is that? He said, "Well, you don't understand. In our organization, I'll create it, and then I have to go to SME. They have to look at it. They take it to somebody else. It comes back. We tweak it, goes back. 8 weeks." He's like, "Now with using the AI, I've got it down to less than 48 hours, which is huge. 8 weeks to 48 hours. And he's like, it's changed my life. Not only did it change his life because he's created faster, he tells me, I got my promotion and I didn't tell anybody else. Basically, I got promotion because using Vyond. They were like, wow, you're creating content left and right. He's like, yeah, I am. He's like, I was able to speed that up with your technology.
Yeah, no, I feel the pain of the 8-week process, as does the videographer behind the camera right now, when he's working on version 34 of whatever video it may be. But
what's even worse than that version 34, Devin, is how many times have you created content and like 2 weeks later, somebody calls you and says, okay, we talked about this. That has completely changed. And you're like, well, I just released it. I need to reshoot that. Mm-hmm. With Vyond, you can just go back in, splice it, edit it. You're good to go. We always see that happening.
even snafus with little verbiages, or whether a product goes through a name change or something like that. I'm thinking of all these different use cases from my professional background. But I want to ask you, from obviously this is for talent acquisition, for human resources. Do you see a future where there maybe are recruiters creating these short videos to send out instead of mass emails, or even to post on their own social media, in order to kind of reach audiences where they are? I always joke on this program that the reason why wanted ads were successful back in the day is that's where people got their news.
Yeah.
Fast forward to today, people get their news on their phones, right? It is on their social media, wherever it may be. That's where our jobs need to be. Do you envision a world where recruiters, typically a little bit camera shy, I would say, can use a tool like Vyond and start to reach the masses in a very enticing way to get more folks in their funnels?
Yeah, I think there's multiple ways recruiters can use this. And so, a little background for everybody on the phone. Not only did I make TV shows, I've had, seems like a crazy career. I worked at a company called Career Builder, which used to be really big in HR and job postings, talent acquisition. I was there for over 15 years. So I know that space really, really well. With recruiters, first thing is meet the candidates where they are. So if you can create content and not find an active candidate, because we know they're coming to your site and they want to find a job, find that passive candidate, the one that's just out there sort of floating around, and start meeting them where they are with engaging content. Stand out, right? I mean, you're talking to me right now. I have a skeleton shirt on. I've got a 5-foot painting of Step Brothers behind me. And the purpose is to stand out when I get on a call. So somebody's like, oh, that's not just a sales rep. It's just a normal guy in a skeleton shirt with a 5-foot painting. But with video content, you can stand out a little bit more and start engaging those passive candidates. Now, once you've engaged them, that's the first step. They keep seeing your content. They're like, wow, that's really interesting. They're telling me all about the day in the life of this job, which is extremely important. It's not text. It's literally maybe a snippet on that job or that company and why it's great to work there, that employment branding. Take it a step further. Once your recruiters get done with that initial phone call or two and they talk to a candidate, how great would it be if you had a follow-up that wasn't an email, but was a video, either animated or the avatar. And if you're using a tool that's recording your call, take the next steps and notes from your call, you can put it into Vyond and it'll create a video for you. So I could send it to you at the end of this and say, hey, Devin, it was great talking to you today. Here's what we talked about. Here's the next steps. Can't wait to talk to you. Yeah. Now I'm standing out because I even have an animated character or it looks like I'm talking because I have a cloned avatar. And the candidate, you be going, oh, this is amazing. He's really taken it to the next level to try to get me to come work there. So grab them up front, grab those passive candidates, show them what the job's like, and then make sure the follow-up is all on video too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're talking about personalization at scale, which I think is something that every recruiter wants, but you're taking it even a step further than that plain text email that says, specifically what we talked about that was, popped into ChatGPT and done that. Now it has that video element. Also, the amount of things that I know I hyperanalyze in just text alone is enough to give anyone anxiety. But you can actually add some personality into this as well, where if someone makes a joke on a call about the Step Brothers, painting in your background, and you wore a tuxedo to a job that requires you to clean toilets, you could kind of, that might look wrong in an email. It might not come out correctly, but you can add some of these elements and really showcase your personality, right?
By the way, nice call out. That's a perfect thing right there. Nice place.
Did you hang that one on purpose?
Yeah. So, so for those of you folks at home, we had a pre-call, we were chatting. I always have a 5-foot painting behind me of a movie of sorts. And I had Goonies up because it's Halloween.
Yeah.
I was going to change it to Ted Lasso to be more professional. I think that's what sort of can resonate with everybody. But then I saw Step Brothers because I have a dozen of these. And I thought, I mean, this is perfect. HR all over it. So yes, very professional here today.
I love it. So obviously we talked about it from a talent acquisition perspective, but I'm sure you have a plethora of real world examples of people creating, some of this content and even tweaking it in real time. Can you walk us through maybe some of those examples where an individual was to create content that was supposed to stand the test of time, and then it wasn't, right? Something went wrong. How did they work through that process, and how easy were they able to make the change?
Yeah, actually, I have a customer that we probably interact with. Almost everybody does on this call daily. And they have a safety division, right? So they're always trying to teach everybody in their, let's say, factory or manufacturer on the floor in their warehouses how to hold a box safely. And I've seen it a couple different ways happen. One, they created content and they were holding the box, let's say, on the sides like this, like me and you probably would do.
Mm-hmm.
Then somebody expert came in after a couple months. They're like, no, we need to change and hold on the corners. All they have to do with Vyond is just take that video that's saved, go back into that one part, change the video of how the guy's holding the box, and you're good to go. Also, on top of that, you see this all the time where I'll talk to customers and say, do you need to translate your content? And most times it's like, you know what? We don't need to now. 2 months later, they'll come back like, listen, we just went into Quebec. Now we need French Canadian, because if not, we're going to be fined $1,500 for our first infraction, and it goes up from there. Great. Or I think it's $7,500, excuse me. So now they can take that same video, hit a button. Now it's in French Canadian. Yeah. So we see it not only on the video side of changing, but also translating as well. Easy to do. Go in, tweak it, and you can recreate that video in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, no, the language piece is something that's certainly fascinating to me.
Yeah, I had a customer in the BPO space that was up in Canada, and it was $7,500 as your first infraction. Mm-hmm. Now they were paying $1 per character to translate. So you can imagine how expensive that was getting. Once we got them on a Vyond, they're like, I clicked a button and in 5 seconds I was done. So speed, and then it was saving them a ton of money. And they were able to hire more people in Quebec than they were before, because they just couldn't do it and get enough content out there to be within regulations. Yeah,
I mean, we have a mascot here at Phenom, and obviously we're expanding into different markets. And I imagine creating videos with him, with him in different places in the world, right? Speaking French, speaking Italian, whatever it may be, and then you don't have that kind of bait and switch where it's like, I know that Devin doesn't speak French. He's never said a word of French in his life, but neither here nor there. I'm obviously getting a little bit sidetracked. I want to ask you, for some of those folks that may be camera shy, right? Even executives who don't like to get in front of the camera, how many photos, how much information do you have to provide a tool like Vyond in order to have an AI avatar for them? Is it just one picture and a certain sentence, or how does that truly work?
Yeah. So there's two ways to do it. One, we see a lot of companies sometimes just sort of put a faceless AI avatar. We have over 1,200 different avatars and backgrounds. So, and we have an avatar creator where you can literally go in, describe what you want, and it'll create an avatar that looks like that. So again, I'm not professional. I created one as Willy Wonka. I created one as a NASCAR driver because I like NASCAR. Mm-hmm. And I needed one for a video the other day where I needed a professional news anchor. And I just typed in what I wanted, and it had a realistic looking news anchor. Yeah. But now if you want to clone yourself, which is sort of what you're getting to, very easy to do. It's about a 3-minute process. You'll go on camera on your laptop, or you can do it on your phone, and you read for about 2 minutes, anything you want. We just want to clone your voice and your likeness. And then we want you to do a quick 30-second video, just legalese to say, hey, you can't use this for anything. Devin can't take this video, clone his boss, and then go to HR and say, I got a raise. My boss said that. No. So very easy to do, less than 3 minutes. And then once you have your avatar, it's as simple as typing in whatever you want to say.
Yeah. Just a few now brown cows, and then all of a sudden you're ready to have say whatever you need.
Yeah, it's super easy to do. I've done it. I prefer not to ever have, much like you, have more of me out there in the world, but easy to do.
That's exciting. And maybe if my voice goes down at some point, I may need it right at that point. I want to ask you a little bit of an open-ended question. I know we're coming up on time here soon. Where do you see this really changing the game in the next 3 to 5 years? I think obviously Vyond has been in the space for quite a while. You are making waves when it comes to state-of-the-art technology. As people get more acclimated with using AI, with coming up with AI-generated ideas, how do you think that's going to play a role in human resources, but also in video in general? Corporate communications, excuse me.
I think it's something that Phenom's starting to jump into as well, is taking an avatar to the next level. How can I have a conversation with the avatar? Yeah. Right. So that is going to be a big game changer. We already see companies doing that for like a BDR or an SDR. You're having your initial conversations with essentially a robot, and it's weeding it out. So seeing how that will be big. Using script to generate videos, not just animated or an avatar talking, but a full-on scene, maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Right now, there's companies out there. Google's doing it for about 5 seconds, VO3. But you can go and type, I want a scene. I'm looking outside right now in my cul-de-sac. And typically, I live south of Denver, Colorado, and typically I'll see deer outside. Yeah. So maybe I want to recreate that scene and I don't want to wait around for a deer. I could type in deer crossing the cul-de-sac, eating, the peaches out of my neighbor's yard. And it will create a full-on video that looks real. Much like I mentioned earlier in the call where my sister-in-law said, hey, look at this bear. There's like a raccoon riding on it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is just AI, and it's taking it to the next level. But at the same time, that's a little scary because you have to start realizing what is realistic and what is not. Yeah. That's a whole other conversation that people are working on to make sure we always know what's real and not.
Yeah, it's getting good. I think we as humans will begin to pick up on it a little bit better as we get more acclimated to it, right? I think of video games in the early 2000s. Yeah. Obviously, they don't look anything like they do today, but at that time it was like, whoa, this looks like I'm watching NFL. If you were to turn on a PlayStation 1 game right now, it does not at all. And we'll start to pick up on these little intricacies here and there as we experiment and as with AI gets better. You mentioned the idea of talking with an avatar through the interview process. I've said this ad nauseum on this program. I envision a day where resumes are thrown out the window. And in order to apply for a job, you have to hop on camera, or you have to have a phone call with an AI agent and truly share your past experiences, share what you are good at, so much more than 1,000 words on a sheet of paper, and really bring your full self to work. So I hope that comes. And I think you just described it with tools like Vyond, where you're able to have recruiters in multiple places at the same time for the benefit of candidates.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, think about resumes now, especially at those jobs like a BPO where you're just weeding through resumes left and right. You're looking at it for about 5 seconds, right? Well, now let's capture someone's likeness. Let's capture what the analytics are going to get so great on it too, to read you and say, okay, this guy is truthful. This guy has energy. Yeah. This is where he will be a perfect fit in your organization. All that will come on down the road, which is amazing, sort of terrifying, but amazing. And we both know, Devin, you've probably been there before. I used to run hiring events for customers. And when someone walks up to you and they're going to work for a retail position that's going to be out in public, if they come up to you and they're like, you go, hey, how's your day today? And they're like, it's okay. Yeah. That's not the attitude they want. Nope. You can pick that up very easily with these AI calls versus that resume.
Absolutely. I mean, my first job out of college was I worked for a third-party logistics company, and I was in a sales role. Obviously, I'm a little bit more of an extrovert, so I fit in. But then I recruited for that role, and exactly what you're describing, where the moment that someone walks up to you, you have to understand if they can have a conversation with a truck driver who has been driving for 400 miles, and you get the idea. But neither here nor there. We talked about a lot today, Jared. Anything that I left off the docket? Anything that you want to follow up with, or any final points that you want to drive home?
No, the only thing I want to say is, like I said in the beginning, I love working here. This is a fun tool to use. We are constantly, monthly, we have new releases. So we just actually last month released Google Chirp as some of our new AI voices, which sounds so realistic. It's crazy. But that's what's fun about Vyond. We listen to customers. We ask them what they need, and then we come back and provide that monthly with updates of what we're doing. So our roadmap is insane. I'm excited. If any of your listeners or viewers want more information, please reach out to us. I think it's in the marketplace. Happy to chat with them. I have a blast doing this. And if they chat with me, guaranteed I'll have some crazy shirt and probably a different painting depending on the month.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I want access, Jared. So I'm going to reach out to you, and I'm going to start messing around with Vyond a little bit. Thank you so much for the call. This has been a really fun conversation. I appreciate it. In the words of Ted Lasso, barbecue sauce. Yes. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and can't wait to have you on the program soon.
Great. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.
Thank you. Jared, thank you so much once again for joining. Love the conversation as a whole. Also, stepbrother's background, Fantastic. 10 of 10 would recommend. Can't wait to have you on again to talk about the new aspects of AI and video. I know we kind of got a little doom and gloom there at the end about things getting scary, but I think it is only going to get better and better. And we are going to put in the rules and regulations to make sure that it is safe for everyone and no one gets duped by any AI avatars. Can't wait to continue to see this partnership with Vyond grow. As Jared mentioned, they are available on the marketplace. So without any hesitation, run on over there, request a demo, talk to Jared. He's a good time. But thank you all so much for tuning in this Thursday. Can't wait to see you next week because we do this every damn Thursday. But in the meantime, everyone have a safe, happy, and healthy weekend. And we can't wait to see you then. Thanks so much.